Alright guys, welcome back. This is Railius D's Manga Chapter Review for Kaiju number 8, Chapter 26, The Third Force. So in this breakdown we got Shinomiya asks details who's that Pokemon moment with the person Hoshina is always speaking to over the call, alongside Hoshina versus Kaiju number 10, possibly Pterosaur. Pterosaur scenes and like dodging punches because Hoshina was out there like got your ass, bitch. And it was nice. Alright, let's get into it. Going on is Hoshina and Mina decided that she's going to be the third force on the battlefield outside of those main two. So they made her a custom weapon that fits her battle style. Although she was nitpicking and saying she didn't like it, it does perfectly fit how she rushes in the battle and knocks people right out the way. Her axe is actually made from a uni organ, which is just a reproductive organ. I don't know how they malleable that into a weapon, but they did. So what's going on is she pulls the trigger on the weapon and it sends out shockwaves. First attack, Falling Thunder. When she pulls it out and she swings, mid-swing, she pulls the trigger in order to force down shockwaves to take out whatever's below it. Whatever kaiju is under it is getting taken out immediately. Her second attack, Water Skimmer, is when she swings it around and then she pulls the trigger to send shockwaves out in front of herself. So either way, it's either from the top, Hawk Smash and shit, or she's just straight up slinging the blade right across the middle to cut things out of her way. So Shinomiya is one-shotting all the pterosaurs right now everybody's struggling with. Her doing that has actually allowed everyone else to go back to their original plan of 2v1 and pterosaurs. So hopefully we're going to cut back to a different scene of seeing the other people like Iharu, Ikugoro, double teaming pterosaurs. It would be great. We actually don't get to see Kafka this chapter at all, which I have no complaints about because there's too much going on in this chapter anyway. So the only fallback seemingly that we get so far about this big axe that Shinomiya's carrying around is that she can't cover distances. So there's no more distance fights like how she was having with the gun she ran around. So now we have Reno stepping up to the plate, and Reno is here shooting freeze bullets at all the flying kaiju that are coming up. And what happened was one flying pterosaur was immediately coming towards Shinomiya while she was lost in thought after hitting the Water Skimmer on the second kaiju that she defeated. He's like, freezing ring, freezing wing, freezing wing. That falls to the ground. Shinomiya comes, packs it out the way, and it was beautiful. So she's like, you know what? You're going to be my second. And they run together defeating kaiju because he's freezing the bullets, which actually dulls them, slows them down, and they can't fly away. So he's helping her improve on what she lacks, and I think that's going to be a beautiful fucking combo. Alright, now we get into the fighting scene between Hoshina and the Ready to Rumble Kaiju, because he's sending out fists left and right. Of course, Hoshina's dodging, we get to see his hair go, oh, you know what I mean? But what's important is that what we can tell is when he sends out these fists, they're actually leaving shock or air compression damages on the surfaces behind Hoshina. So even if he's directly, he like backsteps the fist, he'll still get hit with that shock wave from the after punch. And that may cause him some damage. We'll see how that goes. But what also is important is we get a who's that Pokemon moment with the girl who we've been seeing constantly, and we just learned her name this chapter. We're going to cover that right after this. But getting back to it, Hoshina is here just dodge, and just throwing punches. He asks her to open the gate to bring Kaiju number 10 basically further in the training grounds. And Kaiju number 10 literally just punches the shit out of the door. That door is huge as crap, and he dented it easily. What Hoshina wanted to know is where it hit on the door to make it dent in such a way, because it actually looks like he hit it directly on the side, but what actually happened, as we can see in the chapter, is he hit it a little to the right. So that shows, I guess, the shock and or the power distribution of when he puts his fist out. You can actually see how the door bends. Next we have him punching Hoshina. Hoshina blocks like this, right? My man's like, blocks, gets knocked away. But then he just stands in this badass moment where he has one sword just sticking straight out, and the other's like behind him at his hip, and he's just like full release, 92%. Let's go. But at the same time, what's even more badass in this little pick perfect moment is that he cut off the pterosaur's arm. Of course, it can manually regenerate, but now we know he can cut that guy. So that's a way to defeat him right there. We didn't even know it was going to exist. He cut off the pterosaur's arm, and he just falls off. Like, beautiful. And then he's just like, all right. The pterosaur's just like, you know what? This ain't going to be a bad fight. This ain't going to be a bad fight. And they're going to continue getting into it. So I cannot wait for next Thursday to get more into this fight. They better not show Catholic. This may be a straight one-on-one because this is beautiful. Finally, our Who's That Pokemon moment is going to be Okanogi, who is the lady they're always calling back to with the big Velma-like glasses. She is a real MVP. We're going to see it come out more in the story, but I'm sure she's a real MVP. She handles all the calls he makes. No questions asked. Now, I would definitely rate this chapter a 5 out of 5 or a 10 out of 10. I really don't. Quick description of how Shinomiya weapons work, to how Reno is still going to be useful, to the quick scene of Ikaguro telling teams we're going to split back up because he's still in charge. Can't forget that. Bleeding it back into Hoshina's fight of him bringing out the kaiju to let it be a one-on-one tough fight. It was just so beautifully made. The chapter seemed fast because we got so many action-packed scenes along with some good details. It was perfect. Please leave me a like. I'm trying to get at least 5 likes on this video to see how well I did. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think of the chapter. Let me know what you think will happen next week with Hoshina versus the Pterosaur Kaiju, because this fight is fucking great.